In the beginning, there was only chaos, emptiness, and disorder, the source of all life and order. Then Gaia, the personification of Earth, emerged from the chaos, bringing the vitality and nurturing power of the world. Following closely was Eros, the god of love, representing love and creation, driving the universe towards order. In the embrace of chaos, there was no time, no space, nor any sign of life. It was an endless void, yet held infinite possibilities, till one day from the depths of chaos the first glimmer of order gradually took shape. This light grew and coalesced into Gaia, the Mother Earth. Her body was like a massive rock growing from the void, solid and stable. Her emergence brought the first hint of life to the endless void. Gaia wasn't a lonely being. Her birth awakened the dormant power within the chaos. Eros, the god of love, appeared quietly by her side. His existence was like the soft light of dawn, warm and gentle. Eros' arrival not only brought the breath of life to the newly born Earth, but also injected vitality into the further development of the universe. His love was an invisible force that propelled the proliferation of life and the evolution of the cosmos. From the union of Gaia and chaos came Uranus, the sky god, who became the vast and boundless sky, ruling over heaven and earth. However, Uranus didn't take kindly to his offspring, seeing their existence as a threat to his authority. So he imprisoned them deep within the earth. Watching her beloved children suffer, Gaia finally decided to take action. Using her wisdom, she forged a huge sickle and handed it to her son Cronus. Uranus' rule was tyrannical and merciless. He feared his children would challenge his throne, so he imprisoned them in the deepest part of the earth, a place of darkness and oppression, with no light. The children struggled in agony, their cries echoing through the earth, but unheard by anyone. Gaia's heart was torn by her children's suffering. She couldn't bear to see them endure such pain, so she resolved to resist Uranus' tyranny. Gaia worked quietly in the darkness, using her power and wisdom to forge a massive sickle. This sickle was not merely a weapon, but a symbol of hope for rebellion and freedom. Gaia gave the sickle to Cronus, her eyes filled with trust and anticipation. Cronus, as Gaia's son, felt the weight of his mother's expectations and the responsibility that came with it. He knew he had to take action, for himself and for his brothers and sisters. Cronus lurked in the shadows, waiting for the right moment. Finally, one day when Uranus came to Gaia to unite with her again, Cronus seized the opportunity. He suddenly leaped out and fiercely cut off his father's genitals, symbolizing the end of paternal authority and the arrival of a new era. The blood and semen of the father fell into the sea, creating foam, and a new force was born in the ocean. With Uranus' defeat, Cronus freed the imprisoned Titans, and the Titan Age began, marking a turning point in mythology. This signified the beginning of the Titan myths. However, Cronus' rule didn't last long, as new deities began to emerge over time. Cronus was filled with fear. He heard a prophecy that his children would eventually overthrow him and seize his throne. To prevent this fate, Cronus, after heeding the prophecy, made an extreme decision. Whenever Rhea gave birth to a child, he would devour them, ensuring his continued rule. Cronus' fear burned like a flame in his heart. He couldn't shake off the shadow of the prophecy, which lingered like a dark ghost in his mind. Every time he saw signs of Rhea's pregnancy, his heart was filled with unease and anxiety. He knew that each new birth could be the one to end his reign. Thus, Cronus made a despicable decision. Whenever Rhea gave birth to a child, he would unhesitatingly swallow them. His children struggled and cried within him, but he showed no mercy. Cronus' heart was consumed by fear and the desire for power. He would do anything to ensure his rule remained unthreatened. However, this extreme behavior did and bring Cronus' peace of mind, but instead twisted and tormented his soul even more. His atrocities caused Rhea immense grief and enraged and frustrated Gaia. Cronus' rule, though seemingly stable on the surface, was in reality fraught with unrest and turmoil. Rhea, seeing this situation, became extremely anxious and could no longer bear it. She finally sought help from Gaia, the Earth goddess. Gaia, as a symbol of motherhood, decided to assist Rhea, also reflecting the maternal power of the Earth goddess in mythology. Gaia hid Rhea's newly born son Zeus on Mount Ida in Crete, and used special means to ensure his safety. When Cronus came again to devour his son, Rhea cleverly substituted a stone wrapped in cloth for Zeus, successfully deceiving Cronus into thinking Zeus had been swallowed out. On Mount Ida in Crete, Zeus began his journey of growth. This was a safe and mysterious place, surrounded by dense forests and towering peaks. Here, Zeus received protection and guidance from Gaia, who used her wisdom and power to help Zeus gradually grow into a mighty deity. Zeus' growth was not without challenges. He faced numerous trials and tribulations. Each failure made him more resolute, and each success bolstered his confidence. Throughout his development, he learned to wield his powers, control his emotions, and become a true leader. Simultaneously, during this process, Zeus gradually comprehended the essence of paternal authority and the conflict between destiny and freedom. He realized that although he was Cronus' son, he didn't have to follow in his father's footsteps. He could choose his own destiny and become a god different from Cronus. Under Gaia's protection, Zeus grew secretly on Crete. As time passed, he became increasingly powerful until he was ready to challenge his father. This process was not only an accumulation of strength, but also represented Zeus' growing understanding of paternal authority and his experience of the conflict between destiny and freedom. Finally, when Zeus was prepared to meet his destiny, he engaged in a fierce battle with Cronus. Zeus ultimately triumphed over Cronus and forced him to release the siblings he had swallowed. This victory was not only a display of power but also a symbol of Zeus's psychological and spiritual growth. With Cronus' defeat, the war between the gods and the Titans erupted, and the balance of fate began to tip. The war lasted for a full 12 years, with both sides evenly matched. Zeus eventually freed the Cyclopes and the Hecatonchires, who had been imprisoned by Cronus, gaining their support. In gratitude, the Cyclopes gifted Zeus a powerful thunderbolt, which became his signature weapon. Poseidon received a trident, and Hades obtained a cap of darkness that granted invisibility. These divine weapons revolutionized the power of the gods, turning the tide of the war. In this protracted conflict, the Titans were finally defeated and imprisoned in Tartarus, the abyss of the underworld, marking a complete reversal of victory and defeat between the gods and the Titans. This triumph heralded the beginning of the Age of the Gods. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, the three brothers, decided to divide the rule of the world by lot. Zeus claimed the sky and became the king of the gods. Poseidon gained dominion over the seas, and Hades took control of the realm of the dead, ruling the underworld and the domain of death. As the king of the gods, Zeus resides on his throne atop Mount Olympus, the abode of the gods in the center of the divine realm. His authority is unrivaled. He often uses thunder and eagles as symbols to warn or inspire mortals, reminding them of the might of the gods that must not be underestimated. Zeus governs all meteorological changes from lightning and thunder to storms and snow. It seems that every fluctuation in the weather is dictated by his mood. In addition, Zeus is the protector of hearth and home and of travelers. He particularly favors mortals who are hospitable and kind. However, should you fail in hospitality or act discourteously, Zeus will not be lenient. His retribution may make you acutely aware of the awe-inspiring power of the gods. Zeus' personal life is equally legendary. He married his sister Hera, and their union produced two renowned deities: Ares, the god of war, and Hephaestus, the god of fire. Yet Zeus is infamous for his numerous affairs with other goddesses, which have not only embroiled him in scandals, but also altered the destinies of many gods. For instance, his liaison with Metis, the goddess of wisdom, resulted in Athena and his encounters with Eos, the goddess of dawn, led to Hermes, Apollo, Artemis, Persephone, and other deities, all of whom have enriched the stories of the divine realm. Beyond goddesses, Zeus has also had many entanglements with mortal women, giving rise to even more legendary figures: Dionysus, the god of wine, Heracles, the hero, and Perseus, the warrior. All are offspring of Zeus and mortal women. Most notably, Heracles and Perseus have had to contend with Hera's wrath and vengeance, as she has been a victim of Zeus's infidelity. Despite this, Zeus's descendants hold significant positions in mythology, and their tales form essential chapters in ancient Greek mythology. Poseidon is one of the most powerful gods on Olympus. ruling the vast oceans and possessing the power to cause earthquakes. He is also a crucial deity of horses in ancient society. His palace is located on Olympus, but he prefers to dwell in his magnificent underwater palace, hidden deep beneath the endless seas. As the lord of the oceans, sailors would pray to Poseidon and offer rich sacrifices before each voyage, seeking his protection. Without his favor, sea journeys would be fraught with danger and even potential death. Provoking Poseidon is an extremely foolish decision, for he is narrow-minded and holds grudges. Should you offend him, Poseidon will inflict severe punishment without mercy. In the story of Theseus and the Minotaur, King Minos of Crete would annually offer the strongest bulls to Poseidon as a sign of respect. However, one year, Minos decided to conceal his favorite enormous white bull and keep it for himself. Poseidon detected this deception, but instead of directly punishing Minos, he redirected his anger towards Minos' wife. The sea god caused her to fall in love with the bull, and from this forbidden love was born the half-man, half-bull creature, the Minotaur. The birth of this monster not only altered the fate of Minos' family, but also laid the groundwork for subsequent adventures. Hades, the eldest of the three brothers, rules the underworld, the realm where the souls of the dead reside. Together with his wife Persephone, Hades presides over the throne of the underworld. The two are not only guardians of the afterlife, but also deities of fertility, symbolizing the cycle of life and death and the richness of the earth. The entrance to the underworld is heavily guarded and fraught with trials, making it nearly impossible for mortal souls to pass through, let alone for the living to enter. To gain entry into the underworld, the dead must cross the deadly river Styx, and the only one who can provide ferry services is the stern ferryman Charon. Charon demands a toll from each soul, which is why in ancient Greek funeral customs, coins were placed on the eyes of the deceased to pay for this passage. If a soul lacks sufficient coins, it will be stranded on the riverbank, forever unable to enter the underworld. Charon's demand for a toll from each soul explains why in ancient Greek funerals, people would place gold coins on the eyes of the deceased. The coins symbolize the soul's pass, and without this fee, the soul cannot cross the Styx and will forever wander the riverbank, unable to enter the underworld. After crossing the Styx, the soul faces the second barrier of the underworld, the three-headed dog Cerberus. This massive and fierce beast guards the gateway to the underworld, and any soul attempting to enter must pass its test. Finally, the soul will stand before the three judges of the underworld, who determine its final destination. Unlike the merciful gods of mythology, these judges are cold and impartial, deciding the soul's fate based on its earthly deeds. The soul has three possible destinations: the Elysian Fields, the Asphodel Meadows, or Tartarus. The Elysian Fields are akin to heaven, a serene and beautiful place where only heroes, demigods, and the souls of those who lived virtuous lives can rest. It is an eternal land of peace and tranquility, where souls live carefree lives, enjoying endless joy. The Asphodel Meadows are the resting place for the souls of ordinary people who, in life, achieved neither great fame nor infamy. Here, there is neither the splendor of heaven nor the agony of hell, but rather a place of plainness and silence. Tartarus, on the other hand, resembles hell, imprisoning not only the Titans but also the souls of mortals who have offended the gods and committed grave sins. They endure eternal torment here until the end of time. Hera is Zeus' sister and wife, as well as the queen of the gods. She is regarded as the guardian of marriage and women, and is highly revered in ancient Greek society. However, Hera is also one of the most vengeful and malicious deities. She often punishes women who have affairs with Zeus, and shows no mercy even to their children. For instance, when Leto was pregnant with the twin deities Apollo and Artemis, Hera prevented her from giving birth smoothly, driven by her jealous rage. Hera's retaliatory actions are truly terrifying. She transformed one of Zeus' mistresses, Io, into a cow, and assigned a 100-eyed giant Argus to guard her, leaving no room for escape. Hera's jealousy is almost unparalleled, and many gods and mortals have suffered under her relentless vengeance. However, Hera's most famous act of revenge is undoubtedly the legend of Heracles. Heracles, being Zeus' illegitimate son, was regarded by Hera as a thorn in her side from the very beginning. When Heracles was still an infant, Hera sent serpents to kill him, yet Heracles displayed extraordinary strength, crushing the snakes with his bare hands. This miraculous feat foreshadowed his future as a hero. Nevertheless, Hera did not cease her vendetta. She inflicted madness upon Heracles, leading him to unwittingly slay his own wife and children in a fit of rage. This catastrophe became the catalyst for Heracles' 12 labors, the most renowned chapter of his legend. Athena is the goddess of wisdom and warfare, daughter of Zeus and the wise goddess Metis. However, Athena's birth was anything but ordinary and can even be described as legendary. Zeus had heard a prophecy that one of his children would usurp his throne. To prevent this fate, Zeus swallowed Metis, who was pregnant, yet this decision led to Zeus suffering from a severe headache. He asked a divine friend to split open his head with an axe. With a mighty roar, Athena emerged from Zeus' forehead, fully armored and letting out a thunderous battle cry. Athena is not only a symbol of wisdom, but also holds a deep affection for heroes, having aided legendary figures like Perseus and Heracles on multiple occasions. Among these heroes, her favorite was the cunning and resilient Odysseus. She exerted every effort to ensure Odysseus' safe return home, ultimately helping him overcome numerous challenges and successfully return to Ithaca. Athena is revered above all in Athens, with the city even being named in her honor. She and Poseidon competed for the patronage of Athens, each offering their finest gifts. Poseidon struck the earth with his trident, causing a spring of water to gush forth. Athena, on the other hand, gently kicked the earth, and the first olive tree sprouted. The gods deemed Athena's gift more beneficial, thus she became the guardian of the city. Athena is one of the sacred virgin goddesses, and the temple built in her honor is named the Parthenon. It's derived from the Greek word parthenos, meaning virgin. This temple remains a symbol of ancient Greek culture and wisdom to this day. Ares, the god of war, represents the brutality and bloodshed of conflict. His battles are not noble, but filled with barbaric rage and the stench of slaughter. Consequently, neither gods nor mortals hold much affection for Ares, though he is a symbol of war. He is more akin to a violent, mindless fighter rather than a heroic warrior of great stature. Ares once engaged in a romantic affair with the beautiful Aphrodite. However, Aphrodite was not without complications, as her husband was Hephaestus, the god of fire. Hephaestus, a master craftsman, though lacking in understanding his wife's heart, devised a plan. One day while Hephaestus was away, Ares and Aphrodite met in secret. But Hephaestus had anticipated this, and placed an invisible net over the bed, hiding nearby. When Ares and Aphrodite lay down, they were trapped by the net, unable to move. Hephaestus summoned all the gods to witness the captured couple in their nakedness. The gods laughed heartily, with only Poseidon intervening to free them from the net. Aphrodite is the goddess of beauty and love, governing sexual attraction. Whether with mortals or gods, she frequently manipulates emotions to satisfy her own amusement. There are different accounts of her birth. Some say she emerged from the severed genitals of Uranus, the sky god, in the most romantically bizarre manner of the myths. Others claim she is Zeus's illegitimate child, directly born from his lineage. Aphrodite played a pivotal role in the Trojan War. The conflict began with a competition among the gods. Paris, the prince of Troy, was tasked with selecting the most beautiful goddess and awarding her a golden apple. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite each promised him great rewards. In the end, Paris chose Aphrodite, who vowed to grant him the world's most beautiful woman, Helen. However, Helen was already the wife of Menelaus, the king of Sparta. To fulfill her promise, Aphrodite used her power to make Helen fall deeply in love with Paris during his visit to Sparta. Consequently, Helen eloped with Paris to Troy. This event directly sparked the Trojan War. Menelaus, along with his brother Agamemnon, mobilized a vast Greek army to reclaim Helen. Thus, the decade-long Trojan War erupted, becoming one of the most famous wars in Greek mythology. Artemis, the goddess of hunting and the moon, shares the exceptional archery skills of her twin brother Apollo. She is not only the guardian of the natural world, but also holds significant status on Olympus. As a virgin goddess, Artemis holds her chastity in the highest regard. On one occasion, a hunter named Actaeon inadvertently stumbled upon her bath, catching a glimpse of her naked form. Enraged, Artemis promptly transformed him into a stag and allowed his 50 hounds to tear him to pieces. This tale exemplifies her merciless punishment for those who intrude on her privacy. Apollo, Artemis's twin brother, is the god of light, music, and prophecy. He is not only the god of archery, but also embodies knowledge and wisdom. Born on the island of Delos, Apollo established temples there and set up oracles, becoming closely associated with prophecy. Later, he traveled to Mount Parnassus, defeated the serpent Python, and founded the renowned Oracle of Delphi, which became one of the most authoritative centers of prophecy in ancient Greece. Hermes, the messenger of the gods, is also the patron of thieves and merchants. From a young age, Hermes displayed extraordinary intelligence and cunning. Earning a reputation as a divine thief by stealing items from other gods and playing tricks on them, upon reaching godhood, he became the divine messenger, responsible for conveying the god's will. Typically donning a winged helmet and winged sandals, Hermes could swiftly traverse the heavens and earth, delivering messages to both gods and mortals. Demeter is the goddess of agriculture and harvest, and she holds her daughter Persephone above all else. One day, however, Hades, the king of the underworld, fell in love with Persephone on a whim and abducted her to the underworld. Overwhelmed by grief at the loss of her daughter, Demeter searched for Persephone for 9 days and nights until the sun god Helios revealed the truth. Upon learning that her daughter was trapped in the underworld, Demeter decided to halt all agricultural activities, plunging the world into famine. Eventually, to save the world, Zeus ordered Hades to release Persephone. During the release, however, Hades cunningly made Persephone consume food from the underworld of pomegranate seed. Consequently, Persephone was compelled to return to the underworld for 3 months each year, while the remaining 9 months she spent with her mother, Demeter. This myth explains the changing of the seasons. The cold of winter and the withering of plants occur when Demeter mourns her separation from her daughter. The vitality of spring, summer, and autumn arises when she is reunited with her daughter. Hephaestus is the god of forging and craftsmanship, and his birth was far from smooth. It is said that he was born with a limp, which filled Hera with shame. Consequently, Hera decided to cast him off Olympus into the abyss, intending for him to perish. Yet Hephaestus did not vanish. Instead, he tenaciously survived and eventually returned to the divine realm. When Hera, stricken with guilt, sought to atone for her wrongs, she offered the beautiful love goddess Aphrodite as his wife, though Hephaestus was reluctant to accept the marriage. Renowned as a great inventor and one of Olympus's most outstanding craftsmen, Hephaestus forged numerous exquisite tools for the gods' palaces and crafted vital weapons and armor for heroes, most famous of which was the armor and shield he forged for Achilles. In stark contrast to Hephaestus stands Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, and the most charismatic and fascinating deity among the Olympians. His followers often plunge into frenzied rituals and celebrations. His priests are typically the fanatical Maenads, while the half-man, half-goat satyrs are his loyal devotees. The worship of Dionysus is filled with extreme joy and chaos, where followers immerse themselves in endless drinking, dancing, and indulgence, as if all boundaries have been shattered. Dionysus represents indulgence and freedom, challenging all societal norms and order, making him one of the most destructive yet captivating deities in ancient Greek culture. These Greek mythological tales are more than ancient legends. They serve as mirrors reflecting the deepest emotions and desires within the human soul. From Zeus' intrigue to Hera's jealousy, from Athena's wisdom to Apollo's radiance. Each deity embodies a facet of our inner selves. They reveal that even in ancient times, human contemplation of power, love, freedom, and destiny was already complex and profound. Why do these mythological stories continue to captivate us across the ages? Perhaps because they touch upon our shared humanity. Whether it's the adventures of heroes or the strife among deities, these narratives evoke a timeless resonance. They remind us that no matter how times change, humanity's pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty in its quest for the unknown will never cease. So the next time you hear these tales of the gods, consider that they belong not only to the past, but also to the present and future. They are keys to understanding ourselves and the world around us. Each story from Greek mythology is like a drop in the river of human culture, and together they form the vibrant and colorful tapestry of culture we see today.